Among the small gifts that God continues to give me, I was given Dylan's email address so that I could keep up with his many, many friends. To no surprise, his email address was God and Guitars, and his password is Psalms and Romans 1. Romans 12, verse 1 says, I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies as living sacrifice, wholly acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. I'd like to share something. It's titled Living Sacrifice. It's actually a song, but I'm going to love y'all a little more and spare you that I will read it to you. Living Sacrifice. Lord, light a fire in my heart. Let it shine through my eyes. May the whole world look at me and see one who's saved by Christ. Let me sing loud and unashamed of your love and grace. Let your mercy flow through me. Let your light shine through my eyes. May I be a living sacrifice. Lord, let this fire spread unchecked so that all will glorify your name. Let this tired world be touched by your healing flame. And I will sing of your light through the darkest days. Let your mercy flow through me. Let your light shine through my eyes. May I be a living sacrifice. And through the storms we face each day, let us bend our knees to pray and never forget the light that you gave. Let your mercy flow through me. Let your light shine through my eyes. May I be a living sacrifice. By Dylan Reed Faircloth the first. And then the rest of the story. I spent the following year after Dylan's death running. I don't know if there were a better way to put it. Just trying to cope. There were so many teens that were hurting. The whole world's hurting. And I thought it was my duty as the mom. And I could hear Dylan. I don't know how many of you have teenagers, but Dylan had this thing where he would go, Mom! That drove me crazy. And every time I would try to not speak or to slow down, he was so passionate about his faith and about getting the word out, especially to people in the street. He loved street ministries. And God gave me a conversation with Dylan 2 weeks before the accident, and we were talking about him running up and down the roads. And, as a mom, I'm nervous and not wanting him to drive so much. And he said, Mom, we were talking about faith. And he said, Mom, we're not supposed to sit on the pews of the church. Christ was in the streets. And he said, I refuse to be that kind of Christian. And he said, I want to be out where the world is hurting. And I just thank God. I can't tell you how many times that conversation, there were so many things we discussed, but when I'm sitting on the pews sometimes, or when I watch a video like that, and I have to ask Christ to forgive me. If we don't lift each other up in prayer, and Dusty needs it every day, she's going to need it every day for the rest of her life. And so many of you, we need to be praying for each other. I can tell you right now, if it had not been for my prayer warriors, and a lot of them were you guys, even just through inadvertently knowing about Dylan, there's no way I could stand here before you today. I will tell you that I have begged God. In fact, I kind of tried to make a deal with God. You know how we do that? I said, okay, God, if people kept saying, I just wanted to die. The best thing that can happen to me right now, if God took me, y'all could say, praise God, she is out of it, I'd be ready to go. I think I've done my job. But anyway, so I would, for 7 months, I would go, and I would do all these little things I was supposed to be doing, and I would go home at night and I cleaned my house up, made sure everything was neat. I made sure I had on clean underwear. And I went to bed because when the coroner came the next morning to find my body, I wanted everything in order. Didn't want anybody to talk about me. So there I'd go to bed. Okay, Lord, I'm ready. So I'd wake up the next morning, and there I was. So finally, and my friends kept saying, June, God's not finished with you yet. He's got something for you to do. Well, after about 7 months of clean underwear and cleaning house, I decided, I woke up mad. I woke up mad one morning. I said, okay, God, let's get it on. Whatever it is you got to do, for me to do, let's do it and let me get it out of the way so I can come home. So then I started speaking. I was already speaking, but I was speaking up to 3 times a day. Then I would go home, and of course I would sob for 3 hours. Or when I went home at night, I would be falling apart. I was trying to be there for everybody. But during this past Christmas, the kids, Dylan's friends, started doing what they were supposed to do, which was going on with their lives, and everybody else started moving forward. And it just seemed like everything was still collapsing around me. Financially, I was not able to work, not to the capacity that I need to work. So things were just falling down around me, and I finally reached a point that I understood, with Dylan being a man of the mind. We had a lot of heavy conversations, and one of our biggest discussions, of course, was suicide. I had experienced it through family members, and I had a real hard time with it. But Dylan would say, "Mom, you just don't understand. You don't understand that by the time a person reaches that point in their life, they are so low, and they're not mentally competent to even make the decision to continue to live." And I would just I'd say, I don't care. It's selfish. I can't deal with that. But God taught me through the holidays. It started at Thanksgiving, because it was a lot worse this year than the first year. But God taught me what it's like to have passion for other people's losses, and to know what it's like to lose the will to live.